Okay, good morning students. So welcome to Practical Research 1 again. So I will discuss to you the different parts of the research. So there are 5 chapters in thesis. So chapter 1, it talks about with the problem, the rationale and the background. Chapter 2, the related literature and review. Chapter 3 is the methodology, materials, method, and experimental. Chapter 4 is the results and discussion. Chapter 5 is the summary of findings, conclusion, and recommendation. So first up is the chapter 1. So chapter 1 contains the problem and its background. Under the chapter 1 is the theoretical framework, conceptual framework, statement of the problem, scope and limitation, significance of the study, and definition of terms. So first up is the problem and its background. So what do you mean the problems and its background? So it is a background information identifies and describe the history and nature of well-defined research problem with reference to the existing literature. So introduction itself, it's talk about with the background information. So the nature itself, ano yung pinagmulan kung saan nagmula yung inyong research. So, i-discuss sa inyo kung ano yung nilalaman ng introduction at kung anong pwedeng ilagay doon. So, the problem statement is a concise description of an issue to be addressed and a condition to be improved upon. It identifies the gap between the current problem state and desired goal, state of the process or the product. So, ang pinagkaiba niya sa introduction, yung problem statement is a composed of a problem which contain at least 3 to 5 questions. It is a desire to have a goal or objective. So, it focusing on the facts that the problem statement should be designed to address the first condition of the solving problem is understanding the problem, what can be done by the way of problem statement. So, the statement of the problem, it is the issued or it is the method which the 3 to 5 question can be questionable by your research. So, ibig sabihin, yung statement of the problem is consists of 3 to 5 questions that been asked for your research. Then, what is the content of the introduction? So first, the context. The problem you are addressing, broad question or issue with the some context. Second is your position or the thesis statement, your answer to the problem, then the main points at last, overview of the argument. So first is the problem you are addressing. So ang nilalaman po ng introduction and the background information is your problem or your thesis problem. It talks about the first paragraph, doon nag-uumpisa is yung thesis title and then up to second paragraph. Pati siya ng third paragraph, medyo papasok siya, yung thesis statement. So mamaya sabihin ko sa inyo yung ibig sabihin ng thesis statement. Then at last is the main points or the overview of argument. So meron ng konting pagtatalo. Hindi pag sinabing introduction is lahat ng argument ilalagay na doon. The main points lamang. Then the basic structure, the introduction itself introduce the subject and come to the point. The body, the real power of the writing support your thesis. Example, the details and information. Conclusion, begin by restating your thesis, not word for word, gradually become more broad and general. So when we say introduction, it introduces the subject to the point. So sabi ko nga kanina, yung introduction, the first and the second paragraph explain your thesis title. Then when it comes to body, the example or detailed information. So sa body, pwede kayong maghanap na ng sources. Halimbawa, pero hindi po maraming sources. Halimbawa, kukuha ka ng isang sources and then deal with the body. Doon na papasok yung mga information na kinuha mo, magbibigay ka ng example, magbibigay ka ng summary, yun yung nilalaman ng body. Then pagdating sa conclusion, it begin with restating your thesis, not word for word, gradually become more broad and general. So conclusion, lagi naman generalization or summary ng inyong introduction and the body itself, pero hindi siya word by word. Kailangan, kung ano lang yung pinaka main point, yun lang yung ilalagay. Ano nga? At isa pa, dun sa body, dun yung papasok dun yung thesis statement. Ang thesis statement po kasi is kukuha ka ng information from the internet, at least one, and then explain or give detailed information regarding those thesis statement or those concept. Yun yung tinatawag natin. So, introduction, body, and conclusion. Next. So, as you can see on the example, there are the introduction itself. So, first paragraph, it contains the thesis title, or pinaliliwanag niya kung ano nga ba yung magiging thesis nyo, or ano yung magiging laman, ano yung magiging main argument ng inyong thesis. And then, parating dun sa pinakagitna, or the body, nandun na yung evidences. Kahit isang evidences na ilalagay, ano ba, wala doon. Researchers and practitioners from Cuba, 1986. It described the following, and etc. and etc. So, makikita doon is yung transition ng introduction na nandun yung pinaliwanag, yung thesis title, and then pagdating ng body, merong isang evidences na ilalagay, and then susuportahan siya ng iba't ibang detalye. And then, kung makikita nyo dun sa last part, nowadays, students are no longer interested to be like. So, nandun na yung generalization, nandun na yung summary ng inyong research. Next. Proceed po tayo sa statement of the problem. So, what are the contents, or what are the contents of statement of the problem, of SOP? So, it has a research question. So, what of the research, what do you want to learn? Translate problem into specific need for information. Research question are related to objective. If objective is unclear, will not be able to formulate research questions. So, a good statement of the problem must consist of 3 to 5 questions. So, it contains what of the research, what do you want to learn. So, ano nga ba yung nilalaman ng inyong research? Ano yung 5 possible questions na pwede mong ilagay sa inyong statement of the problem na related sa inyong thesis title? So, statement of the problem, it requires to start the general problem, identifying the need for the study. Example, the problem of this study is, and blank. And sa statement of the problem, kailangan meron kayong introductory part na the problem of this study is to provide, and etc. At pwede niyong ilagay dun yung inyong thesis title. Halimbawa, the problem of this study is to concise the business and etc. to grade 11 students, and etc. So, kailangan lalagyan nyo ng ganung part. And then, for example, of the statement of the problem, the study focuses on advantages taking ABM strand in terms of balancing the allowance expenses for grade 11 Hawking for school year 2019-2020. So, as you can see, there is a thesis title at first part, then sunod na specifically, it aims to answer the following question. So, papasok na dito yung 5 question. So, number 1, in what way does the grade 11 use their money for their school expenses? So, as you can see, on the first question, na kailangan ito rin yung gagawin nyo, one question na ang sagot is came from your thesis title. Ito na, kung makapansin nyo dun sa first example, in what way does grade 11 use their money for their school expenses? So, number 1, balancing their allowance. So, nandun yun sa thesis title. Number 2, proper use of expenses. Letter C, avoiding financial problem. So, example pa nito is halimbawa, health and practices of and wellness, fitness of grade 11 students. So, mag-iisip ka ng question is, what is health problems when it comes to grade 11 in physical education? So, letter A, health practices. Letter B, wealth fitness. So, yan. Pwede yung example. So, kailangan makikita ko dun sa first example is the option came from your thesis title. Yung second, up to 5th question, or kayong bahala kung basta hanggang 3 to 5 question is enough, is yung, kung mapapansin nyo, yung number 2, the respondent. So, maglalagay din kayo ng respondent kung, kasi kasama sa thesis problem. Then, yung the less na question na natitira is your ideal question regarding with your thesis. Ano nga po? Then, yun lamang po ang nalalaman. So, by next week, proceed po tayo with another part of thesis. And then, you can now proceed on doing the introduction and statement of the problem. Thank you po.